because I'm sure we did a terrible job explaining it. What is laicite? Did we explain it correctly, or what does it mean?
Yeah, I mean,
We
it's
just pronounced it.
basically this idea of what the first thing of laicite is, like, it's freedom of religion or not religion, and it's kind of separation between the state and the church, which means like the state is not Christian or Jewish or Muslim or anything like that. And what it says really, it's like that the government or the state is not able to recognize what is religious. Like if you are a priest wearing a priest robe, for example, and you go to I don't know, administration, technically they're not officially able to tell that this is a religious robe. This is what it means, like laicite. Like we're not able to recognize what is religion from what is not religion. But it's somehow turned into, we want you to dress in a way where we can't tell if you are Jewish, if you are Muslim, or if you are Christian, which is a different thing,
Yeah.
Which is what they banned the hijab in some situations.
Yeah, it's like, for example, you can't wear hijab in school, okay? You can't wear kippah in school, because if you do this, it's kind of, you're showing your religion, and now you're not part of the republic. I mean, like, you're not respecting the republic as a laik. So because you are clearly saying, I am part of this community, and I am kind of showing off that I am Muslim or I am Jewish.
Yeah, what is an Orthodox Jewish person what do they do in Paris if they can't wear a kippah, yarmulke in school?
I mean, in like in schools, or in like what is considered as public place. Like if you work in administration, you can't wear your kippah. For example, if you are like a governor, or if you are like deputy, or you can't wear something that people would recognize as this is part of this community, right?
I see. Yeah.
So you're saying that's kind of a new interpretation, though. That wasn't always considered the law as far as.
So when you see the law, and the law was very clear, like at the time when it was written, it was and it gave this example of like the priest that I gave. Like the law says, for example, if a priest has a priest robe, as an agent of the government, I'm not officially able to say that this. I it's like I'm blind. I can't see it. For me, it's just
and now they want you to help that person out.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, like, this is why I say it's difficult to draw the line, because you can say, okay, I don't want to see any hijab, kippah, or cross. So okay, you say, okay, I would do this, but then. When you are wearing, if you have a beard, for example, you have to say, this is not a religious beard, it's just a hipster beard. So it becomes very difficult to define. So what is your
those payas for the Jews? It's no, that's a hipster look now. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Hipster curls.
This is just my hairstyle. I want to do it. It's so difficult. This is why the law was made, by the way, because it was so difficult to distinguish what would be a religious, like a scarf that you're wearing on your head, or it's just a a do-rag or whatever,
What about like rappers who wear Jesus crosses?
Exactly.
Exactly.
This is the thing. It's like, how can you define that this is just a look, or I want to be like 50 Cent or something, or if it's religious? So that's why it's difficult. And then it became even more complex, because they said, okay, in schools, hijab, kippah, and cross is banned. Okay,
banned.
So you can't go to. You basically don't go to a public school if you're a religious person. Then
yes, you can't go. You can't go to So they said okay, but then it started to get even further, because they said, oh, we have a problem because some mothers that wear hijab are coming to the school to pick up their kids.
Oh boy!
And like when you are near the school, we don't want to see this also. So it's also, let's make a law to ban hijab from or religious signs near the school, because it's a public institution, and if we see them, it means that they're clearly showing that they are part of this religion. so this so they start to talk about this new, we have to extend the law to include also not only the school itself, but this what's surrounding the school.
Like
Oh
a
my
dress
gosh.
code for the people picking, like a kids, if they have a uniform in the school, the parents don't have the same uniform in America when we pick this kids up.
Yeah.
That
And
seems
this is
like
why
how
insane to me.
it gets always tricky, because it will never end, because then
It'll
it
never
will be,
end.
yeah, and then it
I
will
mean-
be
But
before
why
getting
can't
to,
it just go back to this idea that the state is blind to it? Like if you're this happens a lot at like airports in the United States. I know that's not, I don't know if airports might be controlled by the state, but the airlines are not. But like a priest will be in line and they'll go, "Oh, Father, go ahead. You go ahead." So that's a simple example of like, well, if it's a state activity, they don't recognize, they don't let him skip the line because of who he is. I'm not saying that happens all the time, but I've seen it happen, is what I'm saying.
yeah.
But when did that transformation take place?
It's
Because I know the law
most
is
of the time,
the law is a couple
time,
hundred years old, right? The law
yeah,
has been
it's
around.
like
founding the Republic, right?
1905 or 1901. I
Oh,
don't know.
19.
never mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Never mind.
1905. Well, I think 1905. Um, the thing is, it was clear until some politicians started to use this law as a mean to just say that we don't want this type of people in this type of institution. Or the thing is, they will always take something that is extreme, like
Yes.
a woman wearing a burqa, and they would take this case and they go, see, that we have a problem, and we have this case, it's very difficult to handle, so let's make a new law, because it's clearly difficult to but if you think about it, like how many people that they have burqa in France, like is it like that you can just handle this problem, and the law is clear, so you're not allowed to cover your face in public places. You're not, you need to be identified, and people can identify you.
Is
So you
that the
can't have-
reason why? Not to go too far down this rabbit hole of the burqa, but is that the reason why? Because they want to identify, or is it because what is the reason why they wanted to initially
it's
go
so
for the
many
burqa?
things. It's so many things. It's so many
Okay.
layers. It's so
Okay,
many.
okay,
So
okay.
one of them is, I think what happens is, if you the difference between France and like the United States or like England is, like in the UK or in the US, it's not. It's okay to have communities different. It's okay to have like Chinatown. It's okay to have.
Yes.
It's not something seen as, like, even in Chinatown, I remember you can see Chase Bank written in Chinese, and it's like normal. It's okay, because
Yeah, it's
they
almost
would say,
cool. It's like, oh, look, I'm in
yeah.
Chinatown.
But yeah,
And also it's because business oriented. You say, we have a lot of people that speak Chinese, we want to talk to
Yes.
them, so it's better to, it's just efficient,
Yeah.
But in France, this thing is kind of their fear. We don't want to have communities in the country.
you have to be
So
French.
You have to be French.
What is the current Muslim community? How long has the Muslim community been around in France, and the level it's at now? And what does it look like in terms of like kind of what you're talking about, actual daily life? Is it certain neighborhoods, or is it integrated, or how does it work?
The majority of Muslims in France, I mean, the Muslim immigration is one of the latest one. Like it
Mhm.
started, I guess, around 60s, 50s, 60s, like after the movement of decolonization, and so there was a need of building the country, France. So they needed people to work and to make the working in like building the routes, in buildings.
Yes.
So they asked a lot of North African to come to France and work in France, but their idea was that they would work and then go back to Africa. So that's why when you see, if you go back and watch the videos back in those days, you would see they made kind of temporary housing in like the suburb, where it's for the workers. They will work, and then once it's done, they will go back to their country.
Okay.
What happened is, like, once you leave the country for 10, 15 years, you have kids. I mean, it's not easy to go back. So you are part of your new country. So
Yes.
people stayed, and they were not like integrated since the beginning of the process. It was just, oh, so now you're here, so now we try to, you know, integrate this new community that joined us. And because it's different, because they're not Christian, it's Muslim, so there are differences. So there are things that you didn't know about, like the Muslim community. Oh, they, I don't know, they pray differently, they eat differently, so you have people that are completely fine with this, and they see it as, you know, this is another immigration, and this is how the country was made, France, like different waves of immigration, and others, obviously, they would say, oh no, this is not, there is no connection between the Muslim community and France. They need to change. They need to, I mean, kind of, you need to become French. And when you say, what is your definition of French then? So what is it?
Yeah.
And it goes back to being white, being, maybe Christian or not religious, but, you can celebrate, the religious holidays, but just in Christmas, style, or
Yeah.
if it gets too different, or if I don't understand it, it's just, you're not trying to be French, you're trying to stay with your community. So this is why you have, I'm trying to give you the